The sound that broke the diner's lunchtime hum wasn't laughter or music or the clink of plates. It was a sharp, humiliating burst of noise that made heads turn and hearts sink, followed by a fragile cry that seemed to fold in on itself. In that moment, a young girl's world collapsed in front of strangers, and no one realized that justice had already walked through the door behind her. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for those who can't always stand for themselves, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because people like her matter. Her name was Lily, and she moved through the world with a quiet bravery most people never had to learn. The wheelchair beneath her was not a symbol of weakness but of survival, a reminder of a night years earlier when flashing lights, rain-slick roads, and a single phone call changed everything. Her father had been a soldier, one of the kind who didn't talk about what he did but carried it in his posture and his eyes. He never came home from that last deployment. Lily lost more than a parent that year. She lost the steady hands that taught her to be fearless, the laughter that filled their small house, and the feeling that the world would always be fair if you tried hard enough. On this afternoon, Lily had wheeled herself into the diner because it was one of the few places that still felt safe. It was warm, familiar, and close to the bus stop. She liked to sit near the window and watch the sky change colors while she waited for a simple meal she could afford. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the wheels, not from weakness, but from the anxiety that followed her everywhere now. People stared. Some pitied her. Others avoided her. She had learned to endure all of it in silence. What she hadn't learned to endure was cruelty disguised as confidence. They arrived like a storm, loud and careless, the kind of rich teens who had never been told no and had never needed to listen. Designer jackets, easy smiles, and phones always ready to record something they thought was funny. They filled the space with their presence, claiming it as theirs without asking. At first, Lily tried to shrink into herself, eyes fixed on the table, counting her breaths the way her therapist taught her. But cruelty is persistent when it senses vulnerability. It started small, a mocking glance, a snicker that lingered too long. Then it grew, fed by the attention of friends and the thrill of power. A chair scraped loudly near her, too close, intentionally close. Laughter erupted behind her, sharp and careless. Someone knocked her tray, sending a drink spilling across the table and onto her lap. The cold shock made her gasp, and that was all it took. The room tilted. Her composure shattered. Tears came fast, unstoppable, carrying years of grief and exhaustion with them. Around them, people froze. Some looked away. Some pretended not to see. The teens thrived on that silence, on the knowledge that no one would step in. Lily's hands fumbled for a napkin as she tried to clean the mess, her face burning with shame. She wasn't just being bullied. She was being erased. What none of them noticed was the men who had been standing near the counter since they walked in. He wore plain clothes, the kind that didn't draw attention, but his posture told another story. Broad shoulders, calm eyes, a stillness that didn't belong in a noisy diner. He had been watching Lily from the moment she entered, not out of curiosity, but recognition. He recognized the quiet strength, the careful movements, the weight of loss that sat behind her eyes. He recognized it because he had seen it before, in mirrors, in letters from home, in the families left behind. This man had once served alongside Lily's father. He remembered him clearly. The laugh that broke tension in impossible moments. The way he checked on everyone else before himself. The night he promised to look out for Lily if anything ever happened. A promise that hadn't faded with time or distance. When the bullying escalated, something hardened in the man's expression, not with anger, but with resolve. He stepped forward, not rushing, not shouting, but moving with purpose. The presence alone shifted the air. The teens sensed it before they understood it. Confidence wavered. Laughter died. The man didn't need to raise his voice or make a scene. He stood between Lily and the cruelty, solid and unmovable, a quiet wall that said enough. His eyes met theirs, steady and unwavering, the kind of gaze that carried consequences. In that silence, the power dynamic flipped. The phones lowered. The smirks vanished. They saw, perhaps for the first time, what accountability looked like. Lily felt it too. The pressure lifted. The noise faded. She looked up, confused, tears still clinging to her lashes, and saw a stranger standing guard like a promise kept. He knelt slightly so he was at her level, not towering, not pitying, just present. He helped steady her tray, handed her a clean napkin, and made sure she was okay before anything else. No speeches. No lectures. Just dignity returned piece by piece. The diner seemed to breathe again. A server brought fresh water. Someone quietly paid for Lily's meal. The teens retreated, smaller than they had arrived, confronted not by force, but by the reflection of who they had chosen to be. Consequences don't always come with punishment. Sometimes they come with clarity. After the moment passed, the man stayed with Lily until her hands stopped shaking. He told her who he was, not with pride, but with respect for the memory they shared. He spoke of her father, of his courage, of the way he had talked about his daughter like she was the bravest person he knew. Lily cried again, but this time the tears were different. They carried grief, yes, but also relief. Her father hadn't been forgotten. His strength hadn't disappeared. It was standing right in front of her. From that day on, things began to change. Not all at once, and not easily, but steadily. Lily started believing again that the world could be kind. The men checked in on her, helped her connect with resources, reminded her that asking for help was not weakness. The diner became a place of warmth again. And the memory of that day transformed from pain into proof that she was not alone. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that one person can make a difference just by showing up, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of our humanity. Before we end, leave a comment below telling us what kindness means to you, or share a moment when someone stood up for you when you needed it most. Because somewhere right now, someone like Lily is waiting for the world to prove her wrong, waiting for someone to step forward and keep a promise. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is you.